probably the toughest period of my life as a professional athlete was around the Commonwealth Games. History shows that 3 weeks before the trials, Luke Harrod was killed out on a bike ride while we were training together, and had the unfortunate experience of holding Luke while he was dying and ringing his father and letting him know. And that was really tough because Luke, the whole way through our training, was the Commonwealth Games trial race was on Luke's birthday. So he used to be going, it's my destiny to make the Commonwealth Games, it's my birthday, I'm going to win the race. And of course I'd laugh at him and say, no chance. But the unfortunate circumstances that happened, and I remember being down at the Commonwealth Games, and it had been a really hard 3 weeks from that accident to that period of time. And I wasn't sure how I was going to go more emotionally than physically. I wasn't running very well at the time. I hadn't really been doing much running. And I was training with a guy called Courtney Atkinson who was running very fast. And the women's race was before the men's race. And Loretta won, which was just, absolutely inspiring and amazing all at once. But she crossed the finish line, ran up to me, gave me a hug and was crying her eyes out. So then I'm in tears before the start of the race. And I'm sort of going, geez, how am I going to pull this together to get out there? And I remember starting the race and I had my goggles were filling up with tears. So it was not really the right headspace to be going into an event like that. But, I think I started to feel that if she could do it, there's no reason or excuse why I couldn't do it. So I think she probably did help at the end of the day and fired me up a little bit. And I had a really good swim. I got out on the bike and I just didn't stop until we dropped everybody. And a group of us broke away with Courtney and Levi Maxwell and Ben Buchholz. We got away. And we only came off the bike with a minute in front, but I think I took the legs out of so many people on the bike that day that it sort of balanced the run up a lot, and I managed to win that trial race. So as opposed to Sydney, where it was discretionary and stressful and everything else, it had a whole lot of different emotions around the Commonwealth Games, but to win the trial race and get in was really nice because then I knew that I was going to the Games and no one could take that away from me. So it was a lot different qualifying process. And there was a lot of stuff that happened before it, which made that quite hard and challenging. But winning that race certainly took the pressure off. And I went to the Commonwealth Games, and I still hadn't been running very well. Was very, very fit for the race, but wasn't sure how I was going to be able to hold up in the run. And looking back, unlike the Olympic Games, where I crossed the finish line completely satisfied that I'd given 100%, I actually didn't do that in the Commonwealth Games. And I crossed the finish line, I was hardly breathing at all, and I was a little bit disappointed in myself. And I think I fell into a bit of the trap where there was 4 of us running for 3 medals. And one of the guys we were running with was Simon Lessing, who's one of the best triathletes in history. And, Simon got dropped, so it was Hamish Carter and I running head-to-head, and Simon Whitfield was just up the road a little bit. And I think I fell into a little bit of that trap. It's like, we're in the medals. And I didn't probably launch to try and catch up to Whitfield, and I was just happy that Lessig had been dropped, and I fell into a bit of a trap there, and I ended up sprinting with Hamish for the finish, and unfortunately when it came to a sprint finish between us two, it was always good for me, and then he went on to win the Olympic Games. So I got silver there, and I had a really good race, but I remember crossing the finish line, and I walked over to Kate at the time, and I just went, can't be happy with that, I didn't give it everything. So whereas I got a better result medal-wise in the Olympic Games, I certainly didn't put the effort in that I felt like the race deserved, and I was probably a little bit disappointed, but had a bit of a lack of confidence there in my running at the time, so I just wasn't prepared to let it all go and lose out on everything. So maybe held back a little bit too much, but then I went on to win some really great World Cup races straight after, and I think it unlocked that ability to go and push hard in the run without fear. And I went up and won the Nice World Cup down on the Côte d'Azur, which was just a fantastic place to race, and one of my favourite World Cup wins ever. And to go there and just have that ability to know I was running back really fast, and then went across to Japan and won 2 World Cup races there. So I had a really good back end of the year. But silver medal, it's good.